Well, ladies and gentlemen, the thing that happens anytime you have this kind of controversy over a black character in history is that chances are, once the controversy hits, you're going to have everybody and their mother on the side of the wokies try to run over to Wikipedia and try to change anything and everything they possibly can to fit their narrative. Because unfortunately, when it comes to Wikipedia, they're pretty much all for that stuff, right? You have the ability to change whatever you want to change, and they're going to be doing this. They've done this before. They try to change words, definitions, meanings, history. It's all revisionist history. And now we're experiencing that exact same thing when it comes to Yasuke being a samurai.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
So you guys already know the drama that's happening over at Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? With Ubisoft deciding to represent the Japanese community with a black foreigner. Now, the funny thing is, as I've mentioned many times in my other videos regarding Assassin's Creed Shadows, is that quite simply, the most insulting thing about all this is while we understand that Assassin's Creed has always been some form of historical fiction, obviously based in real places and sometimes even using real names, what they'll do is they'll make a character that's fictional, but they will at least make that character have the same ethnicity or nation of origin as where the game is taking place. That has basically been the way for almost all the games. They've always been that way. But then all of a sudden, they want to change the way that they do things when it comes to Japan, and they want to represent Japan with a foreigner who was only in Japan for like, what, a year and a half, 2 years, 3 at most, before his, Nobunaga died, and then he ended up surrendering and getting taken back to the Jesuits. So it's the same weird concept that they tend to have every time they desperately want to throw in a black person who just simply should not be there representing a country that doesn't really have black people as an origin. I'm just being honest, like stating the facts. You could be offended at the facts all you want, but to have a foreigner representing Japan is just absolutely stupid. So let's get into this article, guys, from Phantom Pulse. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, again, the funniest thing is that nobody's ever had an issue with Yasuke being in samurai armor or being a side character for another game or whatever the case may be. This person has very little history to them. I hope you guys understand that. Anybody who's read into Yasuke or whatever, like, you guys realize there's not a lot of history when it comes to him. A lot of it's ambiguous, right? But there are certain things that we absolutely know, and that was that he was in service to Nobunaga. He was not an actual samurai. He was Nobunaga's retainer. But without getting too deep into history, plain and simple, when you have somebody like this supposedly representing the samurai spirit, according to Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? According to Ubisoft, they feel so proud with being able to say Yasuke is going to represent the samurai spirit. That is fucking insulting, in my opinion. That is extremely insulting to the Japanese community, who has been waiting a long, long time for Assassin's Creed to be based in Japan. A lot of people were waiting for an Assassin's Creed Samurai Edition. You know what I mean? Like something that was always something that a lot of people were asking for. And when people had it in their mind what that game was going to look like, the last thing that they thought was a black male lead was going to be the fucking face of the game. It just doesn't make any sense. And again, they're trying to counterbalance this by saying, oh, well, you get to play as a female Japanese lead and she's a shinobi and all that. Yeah, nobody cares. Everybody wanted to play, sorry girls, only like people wanted to play a male samurai in a samurai-based game like this. That's the whole fucking point. And the fact that you are choosing to use Yasuke is not only disingenuous, but it's so obviously meant for pandering that all these people online are trying to claim that you are racist for disagreeing, and it's fucking dumb. It really is. It says, in an incredibly disrespectful move to Japanese culture, Ubisoft's new Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is the first Assassin's Creed set in Japan, features a black samurai called Yasuke as a protagonist. To add insult to injury, Yasuke, although a real historical figure, is passed off as a real-life historical samurai. Yasuke was a real-life figure, and yes, he was black. The problem? Yasuke was never a samurai. He was a servant. And now a war has erupted between Wikipedia editors, with some attempting to blackwash Japanese history and claim that Yasuke was indeed a samurai. Now, this is very dangerous stuff. And this is the problem with Wikipedia, right? The fact that people are able to go in there and essentially change anything they want just to fit their narrative and to say that, oh, well, it was always there. Look, Wikipedia has it, even though we can see that it obviously was edited at the time of the trailer release. It starts to create a conversation about, why are we allowing these people to try to erase history? Why is history such a bad thing to begin with? You know, they hate history and they hate acknowledging certain facts about the past, right? And now all of a sudden they're trying to change it. And this is not the first example, right? Yasuke is not the only example where they try to change history. You know, they do it with words, they do it with definitions, they try to change the meaning of the word phobia in order to fit what they wanted homophobia to mean. You know what I mean? Like, it's just such a stupid thing. But we have another example of what happens when activists try to take over Wikipedia and try to change the history. It says a woke Wikipedia editor named Theozilla removed the section about there being no evidence of Assassin's Creed Shadows Yasuke being a real-life samurai. Ex-user Learning the Law pointing out that user Theozilla has successfully removed the section from Wikipedia detailing the lack of proof of Yasuke being a samurai. Editors argue that this action represents another form of revisionism in favor of big corporations. He claims no sources needed to identify him as a samurai. User Theozilla has successfully removed the section from Wikipedia detailing the lack of proof of Yasuke being a samurai. Editors argue that this action represents another form of revisionism in favor of big corporations. He claims no sources needed to identify him as a samurai. So again, it's just, I don't know why they repeated all that. That's kind of strange, but Theozilla is out here being an activist. That's all this is. If history is so inconvenient to you that you had to go in and change it, that's ridiculous. The fact that someone's even able to do that, we need to talk about potentially not allowing that to happen. And maybe, I don't really know. I don't have the answers when it comes to Wikipedia, but what we know to be fact is that what was said is absolutely the truth in regards to him never being proven to be a samurai. That is something that the Western audience has adapted, and even some Japanese outlets have adapted, you know, donning him in the samurai gear just for the sake of the game. But still, at the end of the day, there was no proof of that. It's revisionist history, and they're trying to pretend like it wasn't. Now, nobody's ever going to complain because it's still Assassin's Creed at the end of the day, right? Assassin's Creed is not a freaking historical accurate game. Like, it's not trying to tell you every single historically accurate moment that's ever happened. But the point is, you chose to use Yasuke specifically because it fit your narrative. Don't sell me that BS about, oh, we're just using an authentic Japanese historical... No, miss me with that nonsense. You chose the one black person out of the entire samurai lineage to represent Assassin's Creed Shadows. That's what you decided to do. The one black person to represent all of Japan. And then you had the audacity to say, oh, well, this is going to be showcasing the real samurai spirit. Like, get the fuck out of here. This is such a Western take, and it very clearly shows that this game is made by activists. It 100% is made by activists, and it will always be made by activists because it's Ubisoft. That's what they do. It says that wasn't the end of it, as one editor that respects Japanese history revealed the Wikipedia, the Wikipedia back to correctly say that there's no evidence of Assassin's Creed Shadows Yasuke ever being a real-life samurai. Yet that was not the end of it either, as hundreds of woke Wikipedia editors attacked him in an attempt to blackwash Japanase history. Learning the Law posted, one man is fighting a holy war against communist revisionists to prevent Yasuke from becoming a progressive propaganda. He already is, though. That's the funny thing. Like, Yasuke was already technically a progressive propaganda machine because they love to use him as the one and only black samurai because they want to be able to say we was samurais and shit. Like, that's what it is. Hundreds of editors are now attacking the Wikipedia to alter history, ensuring that Assassin's Creed Shadows don't receive too many blows. This is better than paying $70 to Ubiflop. This is unbelievable. Look at this. Look at all of these edits. One person versus 275. It's absolutely insane. At the time of writing this article, Yasuke Wikipedia page reads, Yasuke was a man, likely of African origin, who served as a servant and retainer to the Japanese daimyo Oda Nobunaga in 1581 to 1582. He was only there for a year during the Sengoku period. You chose a black man who was only in service for a year, for 15 months, and you chose him to represent the entirety of Japan. Don't tell me this is anything other than pandering. This is the most stupid decision by far. And again, if you want to make a black male lead character, please, by all means, do so. That sounds amazing. Can we actually get a game that's based in Africa telling some African folklore? Can we get something like that? Because it seems like all of these developers are all just way too scared to touch African folklore, because I guess they're going to be deemed racist or inauthentic or whatever the case may be if they touch it. Just go do a game based in Africa. Do it. We've been asking for this for a while. Give us something that's actually going to be based in their folklore, their history, their stories, but you don't want to tell them. You want to adopt and co-opt other people's stories and say that they were always there. Miss me with that bullshit. You are obviously pandering, and that's all this game will ever be. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.